Today feels slightly bittersweet because we're inside our cabin on the Villa Vie Odyssey, getting ready to leave.
Yeah, we have had a great experience in our first voyage here on the Odyssey, but it's time to head to our land home in Washington, D.C. We're going to chronicle our adventures and let you know what it's like as we go back to living life on land for the first time in a long time.
For the last several months, this cabin has been our entire world. We've gotten so used to the rhythm of the ship, the constant movement, and all of the friendly faces.
That's right. There's not a lot of space in this cabin. Everything has to earn its spot. But we have really settled in here, and it really does feel like home.
As we begin the transition back, we can't help but wonder, is it going to be smooth sailing all the way back to our land home? Or are there going to be some unexpected challenges?
So we're going to keep a daily chronicle of our life as we reintegrate back on land. So stay tuned because the next stop is our home in Washington, D.C.
Let's get packing. We're back home now in Washington, D.C. It's been about a week or so since we stepped off the ship onto dry land.
Yeah, we love Washington, D.C., and we really love our home here. But transitioning from sea to land isn't as easy as you might think.
We're going to do our best to try to give you a sense of what our emotions have been like during this transition in case you decide to do this kind of lifestyle for yourself.
But first, we want to give you a tour of our DC home so you can get an idea of what the difference is between life on the Villa Vie Odyssey and life here back home.
Consider this as a sneak peek behind the curtain of where we lay our hats when we're not on the ship exploring the world. Let's start here in the living room. Take it away, Michael.
Thanks. So this is our living room, everybody. And of course, you can see there's no television in here, and that's by design. We really like to live in here. We like to entertain in here. And this is really one of our favorite rooms of the house. If you look around here, you can see we really have a kind of a style that goes for a mix of kind of mid-century modern and classic antiques and old pieces. Most of the materials that are here are new, but most of the case goods, the wood and that kind of stuff, including some of the chairs I'll show you in a minute, we've bought at auction. So we kind of like this collected way of living. You'll see one of the big highlights of this room is the huge windows. We're on a corner and we actually have 17 windows, which is a lot of light. So we love the natural light. If you look around here, you may recognize this sofa from some of the Hidden Gems videos that we've done. You'll notice we have our gallery wall here. This is really meaningful to us because we have pictures of friends and family and really important events that have, kind of shaped our lives. Over here, you can see we really like to be comfortable, so we're way into kind of Herman Miller. We've got a Herman Miller lounge chair over there, and we've got another kind of mix here in the seating area of different types of goods. Over there, a classic chest that we absolutely love. And you can see, obviously, we are big kind of fans of art. We love mid-century art, so most of the art has been bought at auction, and a couple of pieces on the wall, and you'll see them again when we talk in the bedroom, are some 1700s Chinese screens that we love. This was one of the first purchases we ever bought when we were really just together. We did not have the space to put these things, but we found them at an auction. We loved them, and we actually kept them for years before we had a house big enough to use them with. But overall, it's a really comfortable space. We love the floors in here. We love Oriental rugs, and it kind of just gives us the space to do what we want to do. And it's absolutely a place we love to entertain. Speaking of entertaining, on this end of the room is kind of where we entertain each other. You can see we've got an old olive wood game table. We bought this at auction. This is old. And some gorgeous antique Mexican hand-carved chairs. Bought those at auction as well. And I love these chairs. We had them shipped in from California. I found them at auction, and I absolutely love these things. They're big, so we needed a space like this, but it actually kind of goes together, and it's neat the way it juxtaposes against all the modern pieces. You can see we've got some antique maps of Washington, D.C., and that one right there is the street from the, 1800s that we used to live on, where our previous house was. And that's another one down below it of the Capitol. Another piece that we bought at auction. So we really just love this space for entertaining ourselves, sitting, reading. We do a lot of jigsaw puzzles on this table, as well as play cards and games and stuff like that. So this is definitely the living room. So let's start in the dining room, and you'll see that there's a box here. We're not going to talk about it now, but it's containing something that is very special for our trip, and we'll get into all that later. One of the things that we really love about this home is the dining room. And when we saw this, it was really, really appealing to us. You can see it's a huge room. Of course, it's got the same floors and the same windows and that kind of stuff, but it's a dedicated space for dining, and we love to entertain here. When we moved in, it used to have a wall here and actually a servant's door from the back. That's how old this building is. We covered all that up and opened up the space. We'll get in the kitchen later, but one of the things we really love is the bar. It matches with the kitchen, but we really use this. We use it as a coffee bar and, of course, as a bar. We have our wine collection in there, and we absolutely love that. And it's just a nice way to kind of keep it tidy, but also really be able to use it. The table is huge, and we have, again, the classic kind of Herman Miller furniture that we love, but we entertain a lot in here. We do a lot of brunches and dinners because we really like to entertain at home. This is a really cool table that we had made. This is reclaimed wood, and we had it done at Room and Board, and they did a great job. An antique rug, and then this mix of classic with the new. So we love the space. We've got all our stuff in here from our travels. You can see stuff in there that's antique. These are my grandparents who've long gone. But we've got stuff here that really kind of matters to us. This painting is one of our favorites and one that we bought from Gary Kim, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Another one of the old maps of DC, and just a really comfortable space. We can be in here for hours and really enjoy time with friends. And the way it opens up to the kitchen, it allows us to cook and entertain while we're here. It's easy to go back and forth. We are big believers in dining rooms because this one really, really serves us well.
Now let's go to the heart of the home, which of course is the kitchen. Now, when you come in the kitchen, one of the first things you notice is the island. This is a beautiful quartz countertop. It's very white and bright. We really wanted a bright and lively kitchen. On the island, we have, this is my baby, this is an induction cooktop. Now, it used to be where induction cooktops weren't all they were promised to be, but now the technology has really moved forward, and it's the way to cook. We really recommend it. You can get really precise temperatures. It is just easy to wipe down clean after you're done. We used to be gas people, but now we're all induction cooktop people. Here is pretty interesting. We wanted to have as much free counter space as we could. And sometimes a microwave oven has to be placed on your counter and it takes up all that space. But this is an under-counter microwave oven. Look how cool that is, right? So it just slides open and closed, and we can easily just put things down in there to warm them up, right? So next we have this Sub-Zero refrigerator. It's pretty large. We can fit everything we need in there, although it's been pretty empty lately because we've been away on the ship. And while on the ship, we have someone do our laundry for us, which is awesome. We at least have in-unit washer and dryer here so that we can take care of our laundry when we're home. Now we're in my favorite room in the home, which is, of course, my office. Back on the ship, we've talked about how I have a desk there where I do all of my editing work. When I'm back in DC, this is where that work happens instead. This is my desk. It has a comfortable chair. It has a big monitor. So it has everything I need to comfortably do my work when I'm here in DC. We have these comfy chairs. These are two motorized recliners, which you can just lay in and kick your feet up, which is important, of course, when we're watching TV, because this doubles not just as my office, but also as the media room, so we can watch movies and really enjoy ourselves. And of course, here is the Quest 3 VR headset for a little virtual reality fun. A couple of other things I want to mention about the room is look down at the carpet. This is this gorgeous antique Turkish carpet that Michael found at auction. So this piece of art is actually papyrus. We sourced this when we were going through Egypt. If you looked at that video, it was one of our favorite trips we ever taken, where we went to the Great Pyramids and really enjoyed Egypt. And while we were touring, we went to this place that would take papyrus and make art out of it. And this is a scene from the Book of the Dead. So it's really cool. It's probably my favorite piece.
So now we welcome you to my office. You know, on the Villa Vie Odyssey, we share a room, a single room with two desks in it, and that's 100% of our personal space. Inside, of course, we have the balcony, but here we have separate offices, and that is nice because we kind of like our together time and our alone time, and it's really nice for us each to have space. One of the favorite things that I have in here is all this cabinetry. This was all actually original bookshelves, but what we did was we had all of these doors made. So now we've reclaimed it for space. We kept some of the bookshelves here, you can see, but of course, a long time ago, bookshelves were needed for books. Here, we don't have that many physical books anymore, so all this is space now. This is a sofa. It's also a sleeper sofa. We don't have friends over much. The building that we live in actually has a guest apartment that we can rent if guests come, so they don't have to stay in our space. But this is a sleeper. This is one of my favorite pieces of art. This is a piece that we bought long time ago at auction, and it's an original, of course, Asian piece. You can see my office is also where we work out. So we've got a Peloton and we've got a treadmill, in addition to a few weights in the other room. But on the ship, of course, we have the beautiful gym. Here, we don't go to the gym anymore like we used to, so we just keep this here in my office. The good thing is it's kind of long, so I can have separate spaces. The beautiful windows and all of the things that make the apartment ours. I really love this space, and it really feels good to be back for a while. This is the bedroom, and before we get started, one of the things that I love, and it's through the entire apartment, are these floors. These floors are original, early 1900s, and they're gorgeous. We've had them refinished, but these are all original and throughout the apartment. As you can see, the bedroom's on a corner, so we have a lot of room in here. We love the high ceilings. Of course, the bed's just a little bit bigger than what we have back on Villa Vie. And you remember I told you in the other room, these are those Chinese screens that we bought at auction long before we could afford to, but we have kept them and we absolutely love them. This main bathroom is off of this bedroom. And here we redid this one. Of course, on Villa Vie, we don't have nearly this much space, but we really love it. We took out the original bathroom from the early 1900s and put in this beautiful tile. Of course, we love all the shower heads and that kind of stuff. And I really love the moldings in here, the high ceilings and everything else. So it's very different feeling than being on the ship. It's got all the character of a very old historic building with all these modern amenities that we love so much.
Even though we're very excited to be back inside this beautiful home, we can't help but have this really weird feeling, this lingering feeling that we've decided to call, and I think we've coined this phrase, Disembarkation Blues.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like this reverse culture shock. You're coming back to a place that's unfamiliar, but very familiar. Of course, we've lived here for years and years, but we've been gone a long time and we have this whole different life back on the ship.
Yeah, as our brains continue to adjust, let's talk more deeply about what it's like to constantly transition between life at sea and life on land and then back again.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like on the ship, every night, of course, we're being lulled to sleep by the movement of the ship. And we wake up in the morning, it's there too. So that movement of the ship, of course, is not here. Here, it's very different. Obviously, this building's not moving. So it's stuff like that that really remind you that you're in a very different place.
Yeah, you also, what really sticks out at you is that you're missing the buzz of the ship. So back on the ship, there are a lot of people and they're always going back and forth between some new activity or to a port or an excursion, or everywhere you go, you meet somebody you know and you have a little exchange. There's none of that here. There's this eerie sense of quiet. Now, on one hand, it's pretty nice to have that peace, but on another hand, you're missing all of that energy. One of the benefits of us being back home in Washington, D.C. is, of course, all of this increased personal space. We have a bigger bed, we have a widescreen TV, we just have more space to spread out.
And it's really nice. But one of the things we don't have are those beautiful ocean views that we have every day.
Yeah, this might be difficult to explain to anyone who hasn't experienced it, but when you're on the ship, you have this constant view over to the horizon. It's really spectacular. It really opens up your world. And in many ways, it sometimes makes up for the feeling, any feeling of claustrophobia you might have living in smaller spaces like your cabin. It really is pretty amazing.
Yeah, so as we reflect on this, it's really a blessing to have both. Having both the ship and our home here really helps us appreciate the other when we're not there. And it also really helps us understand and appreciate the puts and takes that come with both ship living and land living.
One of the greatest advantages we have here on our land home that's far and above what we have on the ship is the sense of quiet. This quieter environment really helps us focus on work and really helps us to relax more on our own terms.
Yeah, we love the quiet, but I will tell you this, we miss our friends on board. We miss the interactions if they're formal, like we're going to dinner with somebody, or if they're informal as we see them at the pool or in the hall. It's nice having the people around, and we miss them here.
But don't get us wrong, it's not quiet here all the time, because we do live in a major city, Washington, D.C., a very cosmopolitan city. So in the background, you'll often hear fire trucks going by and ambulances. And something that's really unique to where we live here is that the White House motorcade goes by all the time, and they can really create a ruckus.
Yeah. So while the energy of the ship can sometimes be a lot, and we have to kind of go have our own dinner or get out on the balcony, we do miss it when we're here, and we look forward to being back soon.
One of the highlights of being back is seeing our friends again, and we now affectionately call them our land friends. You can't make up for the opportunity to see your friends one-on-one in person.
Yeah, and it's great being here, but it's interesting because Villa Vie is kind of unique experience, and it's got its own kind of way of being and language and inside jokes and that kind of stuff. But it's difficult at times for us to relate our Villa Vie life to our land friends.
And we also have the opposite problem now too, because now we're missing our sea friends because we're not seeing them right now. Hey, Jim from Hawaii. Hey, Don and Doris from Ohio.
Hey, Andrew and Carolyn from Australia, and many more.
Yeah, I mean, we're not able to keep in touch with them or them with us because, they're off going to the next ports. They're off going to their new excursions. So they're busy while we're stuck here.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's up to us to kind of figure out, and I think we're going to get better at it, how do we manage both our land life and our sea life, and that we really make sure we continue to appreciate and engage, and when we're away from them, take care of our friends wherever we're not.
One of the most immediate shifts we experience when we come back home to DC is the reemergence of the chore routine.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how quickly you can adjust to somebody else doing the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, and everything else.
Yeah, one of the things that's been really surprising to me, it's like I have to suddenly remember how to figure out what I'm going to make for dinner again. I have to go through all my recipes and figure out, okay, how do I get the ingredients together? I mean, my brain stopped getting used to knowing how to do that. So I have to figure that all out
It's
again.
really true. Like we're relearning things. I mean, after he cooks, I have to clean, and I hadn't done that in a long time. And I'm doing laundry for the first time in months and months and months. So it really is interesting to kind of get back onto the chores.
And of course, the cleaning routine, right? So we have to vacuum again. We have to dust. There's just so much to do.
Yeah, clean the bathrooms and the kitchen and all that stuff. And we're pretty particular, so we do have to do it right. But I think we do a pretty good job of cutting up the chores between us. I really do. But it really gives us an appreciation for the folks that do it for us on the ship. We have an amazing crew, and they do all that for us. And when you get back here and start doing it yourself, you get an even better appreciation for all they do.
Even though we're enjoying our time here in DC, the timer, the countdown has already begun for going back on Villa Vie Odyssey.
Yeah, we are actually planning to go to Alaska, Japan, and all these other places. And we're going to be gone away from DC on Villa Vie for maybe up to a year.
Yeah, a year is a long time. So we have to make sure and get all of our medical checkups done. We have to get our prescriptions. We have to make sure that we have everything we need, because we're not going to be coming back home here for a little while.
That's right. And we got to make sure this place stays in good shape. So we've got somebody that helps us here and takes care of the house, along with all the stuff we have to do just when you leave for that long. So there's a lot to do, and we are thinking about it a lot, and we look forward to it. So we hope that you have enjoyed this little slice of our life in DC. We look forward to sharing more with you over time. And please, if you like us, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.